Welcome to Underscore, NCPR's regional music project and podcast. I'm Doyle Dean. I spoke with Patricia Julien, a flutist and composer from Burlington, in April of 2021. She told me she's been thinking a lot about how the pandemic may have changed her and the way she works. Here's Patricia Julien on Underscore.
I hope that I will come away from all this able to be a little bit more expressive in my day-to-day life. You know, I strive to be expressive as a musician, and that feels like home to me. That's a place for me to kind of be emotional. But I'm hoping now that I'll actually be able to carry that into my real life a little bit more. I'm Patricia Julien. I'm a composer and jazz flutist.
You know, take me back to a year ago when everything happened.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't gigging that frequently, but in town in Burlington a bit. And I have a quartet, the Patricia Julien Project, and we were supposed to record our next album last summer. All our rehearsals had to stop, and so we couldn't even really continue making progress toward eventually getting in the studio to make our next record. It's been so strange, Doyle, because I feel like, you know, I've been practicing fairly regularly. It's been a little uneven. I'm not sure. I just feel like a different person as a musician. I feel like, I don't feel like a jazz musician at the moment, which is so sad to me because I haven't actually improvised with someone else live in over a year.
So you sent a piece my way that it's a recent collaboration.
It's called And Gretel Hansel, and my collaborator is Chris Caswell. She is an area actor, writer, and artist, and it was her concept, and so it's kind of brilliant. She took the fairy tale of Hansel and Gretel and created visual images from some aspects of the story. She rearranged them sort of, I think it was mostly random. And that's why the title is And Gretel Hansel. And then she created this beautiful animation, which I love. It's so, I don't know, I found it so emotional to watch her work. And so we both kind of kept the story in mind and did our creative work separately, and then brought it together and did some revisions. And that was really fun, so much fun to work on.
Can you look back at what you performed and what you wrote and think about something, a takeaway?
Yeah, it's a good question. You know, I think one thing is that I'm appreciating that there are so many different ways to connect with other people. I miss the physical connections and I miss the face-to-face connections. But I also feel in some ways, because I've been craving some aspects of interaction, it's kind of helped me reach out in different ways. And that's been nice to see that that's possible. And can I give a shout out to Bald Mountain Theater, because they were the ones who put together an evening of short fairy tales. And again, it's people who are coming up with sort of inventive ways to have projects to do together, even though they're unusual in many ways. It's been amazing to me that people have had ideas and have really sort of become super creative in some ways about the medium, and also how to find ways to work with other people and collaborate in these unusual circumstances. It's been kind of awesome. I have a friend who's a neighbor, and she's a writer and she's an actor, and so she's just a couple doors away from me. And she created outdoor offices for us. So she brought out some sidewalk chalk and she drew on the sidewalk so we would be 6 feet apart. And so we sometimes still meet in our outdoor office, even though we don't currently have a project together. And it's so fun. What was my point? Oh yeah, I warned her that I imagine that from now on I'm going to overstay my welcome at every friend's house.
Why was the flute right for you going way back?
Yeah, I love that question because I have a really terrible answer, which is that I didn't know much about music. There wasn't a lot of music in my household, and when I was growing up, like my parents, for example, aren't musicians. So I chose flute because the prettiest girl in elementary school was playing flute, so it's a terrible reason to choose that instrument. But the truth is, I love flute. Like, I've tried other instruments, and I've played some other instruments a little bit, but nothing really speaks to me the way flute does. So I got lucky. I chose it for a really vain reason, but I got lucky because I think it's really the instrument for me. So, yeah.
Do you think she's still playing?
No, good question. I don't know. I hope so.
Thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it, Patricia.
Oh, thanks, Doyle. It's just so nice to chat with you.
That was flutist and composer Patricia Julien from Burlington, speaking to me as part of our Underscore project. Here at North Country Public Radio, we've been using music by regional artists during our news programs, and you can learn more about them at ncpr.org/underscore. And just a reminder that NCPR is listener supported. We welcome your contribution to the station at ncpr.org/give. And thank you. For Underscore on North Country Public Radio, this is Doyle Dean.